State of Florida versus Casey Marie Anthony. As to the charge of first-degree verdict as to count 1, we the jury find the defendant not guilty. Verdict as to count 2, we the jury find the defendant not guilty. Verdict as to count 3, we the jury find the defendant not guilty.
Okay. Will counsel and the defendant approach the podium?
Somewhere out there, the devil is dancing tonight.
Casey Anthony shacks up with a married man. He blindsides his wife of 22 years. He kicks her out of the family home and he moves Casey Anthony in. Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. Truly, truly is. Before we get started, let me give you my usual disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. Please do not take what I say as fact. Please always do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Next, if you have not liked, subscribed, or commented yet, please consider doing so because it really helps me out and I really appreciate it. So, I don't know why Casey Anthony continues to be the gift that keeps on giving, but she does.
Scene here in Columbus, Ohio, where Anthony was photographed walking through a neighborhood and shopping at Old Navy. She also appeared in these internet videos later, showing some changes to her appearance. Her attorneys later claimed those videos were stolen. And in the last year, Anthony filed paperwork to open her own photography studio by the name of Case Photography in West Palm Beach.
She's sparking outrage across the nation once again with this comment.
I'm okay with myself. I sleep pretty good at night.
Casey is now living in Palm Beach with this man, renowned private investigator Patrick McKenna, as seen exclusively in these pictures on DailyMail.com. McKenna was the lead investigator on Casey's defense team.
His big claim to fame really was working for the defense on the O.J. Simpson case.
I also don't know why this woman will not just go away, but she won't.
I'm still wet. I got a drink thrown at me. This girl has been harassing me for a while.
And why did she throw a drink at you? Like, what happened?
I dated the same person for a couple years. Malcolm Allison, who was with your department, one of your sergeants. Whether they're together or not together, she got upset that he had texted me. I let her know that he had, and she came inside and threw a drink at me.
Do you know her name?
Her name is Thelma Moya.
Casey and Thelma Moya were reportedly friends before they ended up in an altercation over the same guy.
I don't want to get him involved. He's my ex, he's her ex. That's why all of this happened.
So, the very, very short version of Casey Anthony, for those of you that don't know. She basically, allegedly, but not really, unalived her daughter, then lied through her teeth for months about where Kaylee was. She waited 31 days to report her missing to police, and the only reason Kaylee's disappearance even got reported to police is because her mother, Cindy Anthony, called police to report her 3-year-old granddaughter missing.
We're talking about a 3-year-old little girl. My daughter finally admitted that the baby's in the store. I need to find her. There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
You hear Casey get on the phone with 911. It's a very different type of phone call.
Is your daughter there? Yes. Can I speak with her? Do you mind if I speak with her? Thank you. So now your 3-year-old, okay, your 3-year-old daughter is missing. Kaylee Anthony. Yes. White female. Yes, white female. 3 years old, 8/9/2005 is her date of birth? Yes. And you last saw her a month ago? 31 days. Some 31 days. Why are you calling now? Why didn't you call 31 days ago?
I've been looking for her and have gone through other resources to try to find her, which is stupid.
This woman has lied to her family, her friends.
Jurors also heard a friend confront Casey Anthony about lying to police during a jailhouse call after her arrest.
They said that the person that you dropped Kaylee with doesn't even exist.
Because, oh, look, they can't find her in the Florida database. Nobody in my own family is on my side.
Yes, they are. Nobody has said.
They just want Kaylee back. That's all they're worried about right now. is getting Kaylee back. And you know what? That's all I care about right now.
Her boyfriend and law enforcement. She made up a story about a fake nanny named Zanny the Nanny, which is strongly believed that the nanny she's talking about is actually Xanax. Zannies.
Okay, my daughter finally admitted that the baby's in the store.
The first time we met Zenaida, she was afraid to show her face. Not anymore.
I'm still scared. Don't get me wrong, I'm still scared, you know. But I now got somebody that's going to help me, you know, clear my name.
Now Zenaida has a new attorney, John Morgan, and a new attitude. She plans to make Casey Anthony pay in court with a defamation lawsuit.
You know, she threw me into this mess. I didn't ask to be brought into it. You think I would like this and be in the media? No, I don't like that. That's not my life. My life is done. Quiet, stay to myself with my kids.
Zenaida's life changed the minute Casey Anthony said her name. In July, Casey told investigators Kaylee was killed by the babysitter, a babysitter named Zenaida Gonzalez.
You feel like you're in jail without being in jail. That's how it feels.
How Casey got that name, still the subject of endless debate. While apartment hunting, though, Zenaida did visit the Sawgrass Apartments, where Casey had friends. A record of Zenaida's visit was on file.
And that's what we're trying to come with, you know, to find some closure, find some peace in all this. You know, and not only peace for my family and my children, but for peace for that little girl.
She told police that she worked for Universal Studios and took them on a wild goose chase before admitting to them that she lied and she actually hadn't worked there in quite some time. It's also probably important to note that she was dressing up for work and pretending to go to work every single day, so her parents would believe that she had a job when she didn't. She blamed her father, George, for being responsible for Kaylee's death. She blamed her father for essaying her growing up and then claims that he moved on to Kaylee after that. So my question to you, Casey Anthony, is why wouldn't you take your 3-year-old daughter out of that house if that was truly what was going on? Because let me tell you something. I would live in my car in a nanosecond before I would ever let my father or my boyfriend or my husband or my fiance or anybody else take advantage of my child and me know about it. Give me a fucking break, girl. For real. For reasons I will never, ever understand. This chick was found not guilty by a jury of 12 people. 12 people found this woman not guilty.
Under reasonable doubt, it was like Swiss cheese. There's holes everywhere. There's big pieces missing. There's gaps.
Prosecution can never answer all the questions. No prosecution can ever resolve all possible doubts. That's why we have a standard of beyond a reasonable doubt. But if a jury is simply looking for a reason to doubt, they will always find one.
The jurors probably focused on cause of death, which is that the prosecution couldn't demonstrate, based on physical evidence, that the cause of death was a meaning that she definitely died at someone else's hands as opposed to the possibility of an accident. And my guess is that these jurors felt that there was reasonable doubt.
Do you think a bunch of them are kicking themselves in the ass for this every single day?
Investigators from the Body Farm in Tennessee concluded that the evidence from the trunk is consistent with a decompositional event of human origin. Photographs also show the samples sealed in a metal can and sent off for the so-called sniff test. While the findings were not conclusive in that, again, investigators said it was consistent with human decomposition.
But there are still those few people out there that believe that she's innocent.
So first and foremost, the state did not prove the case against Casey Anthony, and I just don't think that there was any evidence there that she committed I think that this was an accident. I think in the testimony in the case, ultimately the jury came to the right conclusion. And mostly I just believe in the justice system. I believe in the criminal justice system, and if a jury exonerates you, then I do believe in your innocence. Also, I know people and I respect people who represented her and they believe that she is innocent. And if they believe she's innocent, then I am not one to judge or question, which is why I do believe that Anthony was innocent.
A TikToker by the name of Kimbo Home Skillet made a 5-part TikTok series about how her ABOSC ex-boyfriend is now dating Casey Anthony. The boyfriend in question is a man by the name of Joseph. Joseph, who is originally from Michigan, lives in Palm Beach Garden, Florida. He is a medical exam tutor and has a set of courses named Man of Heal. During his time in medical school, he won 2 teaching awards, including the top peer-to-peer tutor award. Aside from being the head tutor and founder of Man of Heal, he has also published approximately 50 articles and graduated top 20 in his class. Sounds like a pretty stand-up guy, right? Well, one would think, wouldn't they? But being in the top 20 percentile of your class doesn't always mean you have common sense. Joseph is also very into weightlifting, and it's said that he met Casey at the gym. Oh, and his father was a psychologist who got arrested for prescribing certain meds to certain patients in exchange for certain pleasurable favors, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. In part 1 of the story, Kim says that she dated her boyfriend between the ages of 14 and 16. At the time, her ex, Joe, was between 17 and 19 while they were dating. She grew up very poor, and it very much seems like her troubles at home played a huge role in her relationship with the ex. Part 1, she also tells a story about how she dyed her hair black one day. When she showed the ex, he told her to have it back to blonde by Monday or he was going to shave it off. Describes the ex as dangerous, crazy, insecure, and a coward, among other things.
But I'm first just going to start off by saying that this is extremely nerve-wracking for me. I really had no genuine idea that this was going to go viral. I know everybody says that when their stuff goes viral, they try to make it seem like it was an accident or whatever, but like, it's trauma, okay? Like, I made a TikTok about how he used to tell me how I had to do my hair and how he literally told me that after I showed up at his house with black hair after having bleached blonde hair, that if I didn't dye it blonde by Monday, he was gonna shave all my hair off, okay? And like, excuse me, but like, would that not alarm you? You know, I went through 3 years of enduring everything with him in my life. It was not good. It was not easy, and it was certainly not something that I ever thought that I would end up in. I grew up extremely poor and neglected, and I had been assaulted several times in my childhood. I did not have a sound, safe home. I did not have people who poured love into me and told me that I was a worthy human being. So when I met him, and when he showered me with kindness and love and all of these things and attention, I obviously fell for it, okay? Like, you can't blame a 14-year-old girl for thinking she met the man of her dreams. Like, you can't victim blame me and tell me that I should have known. How the heck, whatever, so this doesn't get removed, how the heck am I supposed to know? You don't know these things until you know, and there are still people who have known him ever since this that truly believe he was innocent and that I'm just someone who's crazy and obsessed with him, okay? I'm not obsessed with him. I'm afraid. He's dangerous, and people need to know who he is because he has not and will not stop. He's not somebody who feels any remorse or cares about what people think about him. He is very insecure and he is a coward, but he is still crazy. He is still dangerous, and that fear and insecurity he has is what drives him to be even worse. He lashes out when he's scared.
In part 2, Kim talks about how the two met when he sent her a Facebook message. She also tells a story about how he manipulated her into dating him. She talks about how he would make her do these outlandish things to prove to him where she was. And imagine if he's like this at 17, what must he be like now? Kim also talks to her audience about how it took her a good year to realize that she was in a toxic relationship. And in truth, when you think about her age, so she's 15 at the time, that's actually not a terrible amount of time to determine that you're in a toxic relationship. I feel like it takes adults way longer to figure that shit out. So that alone, she's a pretty smart chick.
The very first story he ever told to me. So when I met him, he actually had Facebook messaged me. And he just told me I was pretty and whatever. Like, it wasn't even like anything. And we hung out for the first time, and he told me this story about how he played football. He was literally captain of the football team. He was like this weightlifter guy. Everybody thought he was just it, you know? And there's some people that definitely thought there was something off about him, but those kind of people, like, no one really paid attention to or worried about or cared about at the time. Like, nobody thought anything of any of it. So he's telling me this story about how he's in the locker room and the guys are asking, like, well, who do you think is the most overlooked girl in the school? And this is just the story he told me. Do I know the truth or what actually happened in the locker room? Obviously not. But he told me that he said me and everyone made fun of him and stuff. And he told me this story, which what I now come to understand was likely a manipulation tactic to make him seem like he saw me over all the other girls in the school and thought I was special, when really, when he heard that, he realized I was vulnerable. There was no competition, there's no other guys that like me, no other guys that think I'm even remotely attractive or special or anything, so he knew that I would be an easy target at that time, at least enough for him to try to start pursuing me. Like I said in part one, like, I was swooned by him. I had no idea. He was really nice to me in the beginning of our relationship. And he was really sneaky with how he started to abuse me. He started out just by, like, always wondering where I was. He used to make me take pictures of myself and write his name or something that he asked me to. Because after a while, he said his name wasn't the same because I could have just taken the picture in advance. So he used to be like, draw a star on your thumb and then take a picture. Like, he just would make me do these wild things to prove where I was. Like, he would make me text him every second of class. I had my phone taken away constantly because he was always making me text him all day. He'd meet me at every classroom when I was leaving, walk me to my locker, and then he'd walk me to my classes, and he'd always be like, and remember, no boys, and stuff like this. Like, he always made me feel like there's something that I'm doing that he has to watch to make sure I'm doing something right. And, you know, at first I thought it was cute that he wanted to text me all day and blah, blah, blah. It took a while, like a solid year, almost 2 years, for me to fully grasp what I was in the middle of.
In part 3, Kim goes more into depth about her relationship with Joe. And to be honest, it's not easy to listen to, especially when you remember how old this poor girl was at the time. His father would buy and flip abandoned homes that Joe would take Kim to after school. And oddly enough, she felt safer at the abandoned homes than she did in Joe's family home. So if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know.
One of the most messed up things about him was he had these like abandoned houses that his dad would buy at auction and then would fix up. And he started showing me these houses like after school instead of just going to his house, which I was always so relieved because like when I went to his house, obviously really bad things happened to me. So it was really nice to go somewhere else, you know? And of course, like at first he just like showed me the places. He never did anything, made it weird or anything like that. We just were there. And then like it was just one day, we just picked a day and he just started doing really messed up things to me where like I'm being assaulted over a half-done bathroom with, like, no bathtub and, like, this random, like, old, like, just on carpet padding that has sawdust and wood chips in it. And it's like, sure, I could yell or scream, and then what? He's gonna take me into the house and, like, off me? Because he definitely had plans to do those things many times. And he just knew too many people would know if I was missing or did something. Like, he straight up told me when I was with him in high school, one day he looked me straight in the face and said, the only reason that I haven't unalived you yet was because just too many people would know. and he said it's not worth it when he can just go find somebody else. And I was like, okay. What do you say to that? I just sat there in the car and I just sat there and I listened to him tell me this. Like I was in the passenger seat of his white Cadillac.
Part 4 is where she goes more into depth about Joseph's father and the ABOC that she suffered at the hands of Joe while in his family home, while his family was home, and they basically ignore her screams.
To me, the saddest part about all of this is just that it's been 12 years that I've been speaking out about it for years. Like, anytime I see anything, like, I post it. Like, I've always tried to warn people. And just nothing matters. People just keep getting hurt. Like, he went to college and he hurt people there. Then he got exposed too much, so he went somewhere. Like, he just hops from place to place. Like, this dude is in medical school, and I have no idea what his intentions are, but he's a tutor and he has all these different things going on. He has like a YouTube called Medical Muscle, and I know his tutoring is called like Man of Heal. I'm not really sure anything else. Like, people have commented saying that there's a guy talking about Casey being innocent, so that might be him. I know he definitely thinks that she's innocent and that he has nothing to do, like, she had nothing to do with it and whatever, I don't know. But all I have to say is there's people like him everywhere, every single day, walking among us, checking out at the grocery store next to you, like being your bank teller, like changing your oil. Like, there are people like this all over. And some people like him want to go for vulnerable people. And I mean, his dad was a psychologist and he hurt a lot of people, and that's why he's in prison. You know, like, I witnessed some stuff. Like, I used to have to go walk from school with Joe to his dad's office at the health department near the school, and I had to wait there so his dad could give us a ride to his house, because he didn't have a driver's license until like 2 or 3 months of us dating, and then he got a driver's license, you know. But yeah, his dad used to drive us everywhere, like, was actually there. And then when the case came out and all of like the allegations were made and they laid it out in court, it's like really sad to think about the amount of times I was just sitting in a waiting room watching these people walk out after some really crazy things happened to them. You know, when things would be happening to me in their house, like, his dad would be downstairs in the recliner, like, watching TV, acting like nothing is happening, even though I am screaming. It's not like I just, like, some days I just laid there, other days I just, like, screamed. And if you think, oh, how did you end up at his house? Why didn't you just leave? Like, it's... Okay, sure, I leave his house, I run away. Guess what? Where am I going to go? Am I going to just pack up and move away and run away entirely? Or am I going to wake up, go to school where he's going to be, go to work where he can drive through the drive-thru? Like, you don't get it. Like, I was completely trapped. There was nowhere I could hide. Like, our town's population is less than, like, 2,000 people, okay? Like, everybody knows everybody and there's nowhere to hide. And it's like, people didn't believe me. And, like, what was I going to do? I was, like, 14 and 16. Where was I supposed to go and do for myself? I can barely have a job legally yet.
So it very much seems as if this relationship with Casey began in 2022. So it's also important to note that Joseph had a wife at this time.
I really don't have time or energy anymore to respond to any of these. My son just happens to be napping, so I just chose to address this one more time, just because, I mean, the internet is wild and I have so many comments. Like, I don't even know what to do all this. It's super overwhelming and overstimulating as hell. It's been a rough day at work. Like, I've just been, like, in a complete fog since, like, I'm kind of not myself right now. I'm, like, really, it's just, like, consuming all of my thoughts all day. Like, I can't, like, but there are many, many girls. I mean, he's obsessed with weightlifting. He's still obsessed with weightlifting. Like, the ex-wife that he just dipped out on 3 days after they got married, all it took was his laptop and his supplements, if that tells you anything. And his laptop definitely has plenty of secrets and things that he doesn't want people to have, I'm sure. When this is around when, like, iPads and iPhones were just a thing, like, I mean, literally we had the first iPod Touch like a year and a half before all of this happened. that I'm going to discuss, he had an iPad that was connected to his iPhone, and I could never get into his stuff. Well, one day he left the iPad unlocked. Like, he just went, I don't know if he went to the bathroom. I don't remember where he went, but he walked away for a minute, and I had just like a second. Like, I literally had all of but less than a minute to like open that up and like look. So I went immediately to the messages, and I just saw like just hundreds of people. Like, I literally just kept scrolling, and there was just girls. Didn't even have to, I could not read those conversations. And then I go to the photos, nothing but underage, like all these girls. I know some of them, like none of us are 18, and he has like, again, hundreds of photos of girls that were undressed and with his name, all the same things he made me do. I mean, he had a secret relationship with a girl that was younger than me, and her older brother was in his class, and he lied to me and said that he went down for his graduation party because they were in the same class, and I believed him. And really, he was down there, and he gave an engagement ring to his friend's younger sister while we were in a relationship, supposedly. I was just his like decoy girlfriend, the one where like everyone would associate his drama with, so it would distract from all the other stuff he was doing. The only reason he put time and energy into me at all was because he needed something to distract people. You know, he eventually moved on from me, sort of, and started dating a girl on my volleyball team, which I don't even know anything. Like, she would not talk to me or tell me anything, and she still hasn't, and she doesn't have to. But he still came to our games, and he dated her to get to me, you know? Like, I really don't have time or energy anymore to... So anyways, there are way too many stories, way too many instances. Like, there's just too much to be able to explain everything that is him and everything that he has done. But I mean, it's a lot. I mean, just what I went through with him is a lot. But I'm not the only one. There's so many, and like, that's a hard thing to grasp. You know, like, it's one thing to watch true crime things and see things, but it's a completely other thing. It's terrifying to just, like, truly absorb everything, like, all of it. You know, people have said, like, how are you taking this information? Like, I am completely just unreactive because, like, I've been through so much trauma in my life that when really serious things happen, I feel nothing. And I just, oh, there's my buddy. I really hope that something comes of this so that all of us can get some closure and maybe for once feel safe and not feel like there's like, to not feel like there's this like looming danger out there just waiting to like explode. Closure would be great.
I'm also not exactly sure what happened in this relationship, but I feel as if it's pretty safe to say that these two did not last because Casey's actually seeing a new man now that was married for 22 years before blindsiding his wife with the news that he was moving Casey Anthony into the couple's marital home. I don't know how this chick keeps fucking doing this, but she does. Like, I don't do anything wrong. This bitch unalives her child, her 3-year-old, and nobody's gonna tell me that she didn't. She did. Sorry, allegedly. Not really. She pulls in these guys, and she lets all these people, she is so manipulative that she actually gets these people to think she's innocent. The man that we're talking about is a man by the name of Tyson Rhodes. Tyson has been married for over 22 years, and he has 2 grown sons. He, of course, believes Casey Anthony is innocent, and he describes her as having an intoxicating aura. I'm guessing that he and Joseph missed these parts of Casey Anthony's life.
I don't give a about what anybody thinks about me. I don't care about that. I never will.
Tot Mom, Casey Anthony on trial for the murder of her 2-year-old little girl, Kelly. Tot Mom now going after her brother and father relentlessly.
Anthony, you stated the last time you saw your granddaughter was on June 16th, correct?
Correct. June 20th, Casey Anthony went to a club called Fusion with her boyfriend, Tony Lazzaro, and entered or participated in a hot body contest.
What type of contest was that?
It was a hot body contest. Being like a fun party girl. She's not an introvert by
Describe her demeanor when you saw her.
She was normal. I mean, she was just like she was like us. You know, she had a great time. She was always happy.
I had told the friends that she couldn't come pick them up to hang out with them because she was having car trouble or that she got a flat tire or something of that nature. And as she hung up, she said she kind of threw the phone down in the dashboard and just said, "Oh my God, I'm such a good liar."
For 31 days, she didn't report her daughter missing. Today, a complete shift in Top Mom's appearance and demeanor in court, laughing, smiling, joking. You're not going to get a fair verdict every single time you go to a jury. That is the reality.
During the time Casey was in jail, she exchanged letters secretly with another inmate. They were later discovered and seized by authorities. In one, she said she wants to write a book. I'm thinking of a partial memoir comedy relationship advice for those not in the know. It's a way to settle many rumors and to share my insight about love, life, and most important, God. In another, she reveals her desire to be a mom again. I always wanted to adopt a baby or child from another country. Is it selfish to want one from Ireland, accent and all? If I do it someday, I'll adopt local, U.S.-wise.
When Casey was 8 years old and her father came into her room and began to touch her.
It was by this claim she would explain her bizarre behavior after her daughter died, partying till all hours, entering a hot body contest, even getting a tattoo that read, Bella Vita, the beautiful life.
Outside the courthouse, the fury among the few dozen protesters was turning ugly and menacing.
County Sheriff's officials now confirm someone in the Anthony home that afternoon did a computer search for the term foolproof, but was misspelled with an I. Investigators admit they never found that potentially incriminating evidence. Summer, in his book, Jose Baez first revealed that their computer expert found the Anthony computer search in a mirror image of the hard drive the state had provided them. A sheriff's official tonight confirms their experts failed to find in hard drive what the defense expert had discovered. Lead prosecutor Lynn confirms she asked the sheriff's office to investigate Baez's claims and discovered they were true.
And look, she's got a new tattoo just visible on her shoulder. It appears to cover the infamous tattoo Bella Vita, the beautiful life, that she got while partying just 2 weeks after Kaylee had been reported missing.
A little girl was murdered. She was thrown to the side of the road like trash and left to rot. Somewhere out there, the devil is dancing tonight.
And although the timeline of this couple is not known, it is believed that the relationship started in January 2024. Tyson Rhodes is an engineer at Aerospace Company. He began his affair with Casey in Florida after the two met at a bar. After Tyson and Casey started dating, he moved his wife to Tennessee before kicking her out of the home to move Casey Anthony in. Does this surprise anyone that this is what Casey Anthony has done? No. Should it surprise anyone that this is what Casey Anthony has done? Well, it should, but does it? No, because why would this surprise any of us? One of Casey's friends has said that Casey doesn't care if he's married or not. All she cares about is what makes her feel good. And she is willing to follow him to Tennessee and sees a future with him. What are your kids going to think? What do your kids think? Because obviously they know by now. What do your kids think? All right, guys. Well, what do you think about this? Because I am dying to read your comments and your responses. And I would really, really love to keep this conversation going in the comments in a respectful way. Please also don't reach out to anybody that I have spoken to you about. And if you're still here, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you and I appreciate you so, so, so very much. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't yet and you feel so inclined to, because it really helps me out and I really appreciate it. If you have any video ideas, please send them my way. And until next time, stay safe out there.